dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
How would you feel if some stoned teenager killed a loved one because they were driving while stoned in a vehicle they weren't insured to be driving, whilst on a driving ban? Only to find out later that said stoner was literally just released from jail 7 days earlier after being imprisoned for driving whilst banned. And also finding out that said stoner was the offspring of 2 police officers. This, unfortunately, is where police privilege starts to be abused and is proven to extend beyond the officers themselves. I mean, if the police have police privilege, then next time I do something wrong, I want my mum and dad's good character taken into account. And for me to be allowed to walk free because my mum and dad have never been in trouble with the police. Especially when it's apparent that this police privilege allows the police to deal with crimes themselves rather than pass them over to the Crown Prosecution Service for prosecution. Meaning, of course, that the police become the enforcer, the judge, the jury and the executioner.
It's impossible! I never broke the law! I am the law!
And here we are with a report from the 8th of November this year. Police officer's son, 18, who knocked down and killed 2 pedestrians, walks free from jail just a week after being imprisoned for driving while banned, as he launches an appeal. Max Coopey, 18, killed Jason Imme, 48, and his colleague John Shackley, 61. He was banned from driving while investigations were ongoing, but got back behind the wheel 17 days later. He was given a 12-week custodial sentence and conviction for driving while disqualified. Coopey was today given bail after a judge heard that he wanted to appeal. So, a police officer's son who hit and killed 2 men while driving his parents' Audi whilst high on cannabis has walked free from jail just a week after being imprisoned for driving while banned. Max Coopey, 18, the son of a police sergeant and a former policewoman, killed father of 3 Jason Imme, 48, and his colleague John Shackley, 61, as they were walking back from dinner in Ascot last August. Thames Valley Police prosecuted Coopey themselves rather than passing the file on to Crown Prosecution Service.
It's impossible! I never broke the law! I am the law!
And did so only for drug driving on the grounds that they couldn't make a case for causing death by careless or dangerous driving. Even though there were 2 bodies, 2 dead people. How the frickin' hell do you work that one out? He was sentenced to 100 hours community service. He was banned from driving while the investigation was ongoing. But just 17 days after killing the 2 men, Coopey got behind the wheel again on August the 19th. He was given a 12-week custodial sentence and conviction for driving whilst disqualified. And today, Coopey was given bail by a judge after he heard that the 18-year-old wanted to appeal. So is that all you need to do now? You just need to say, I want to appeal, and they're going to let you walk free? Well, that makes things a hell of a lot easier, doesn't it? Oh, wait a minute. My parents aren't police. Oh well. Judge Edward Burgess let Coopey walk free from prison despite hearing a catalogue of his previous convictions, which he described as not an attractive history for one so young. The daughter of one of the people who died also claimed this is why this boy has no respect for the law, because he keeps getting let off constantly. He keeps committing these crimes because he's been let off his whole life. They should make him do his time. It was not enough as it is, but he's going to get away with this again. And this is something that we see often. People being expunged, if you like, of serious time. You know, proper punishment for their crimes. And people that commit relatively minor offences or don't commit any offences and just upset a police officer's feelings get quite severe sentences for what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Crown Prosecutor Jai Patel pointed to Coopey's list of previous convictions, saying he was convicted of common assault when he was 12 years old in December 2013. He then has a conviction for robbery in March 2015 and when he was 13 years old at the time of the offence. He has a conviction for handling stolen goods when he was aged 14 and possession of cannabis when he was 15 years of age. So when he was 12, when he was 30, when he was 40, when he was 15. Well, he's done well there. It's nice to see him keep some consistency. The court heard how Coopy had received 2 further convictions last year, drug driving in June, for which he was sentenced in October of the same year, and then drug driving again in August, during which he had the fatal collision. Coopy's barrister successfully argued he should be released pending an appeal he has lodged against his sentence and conviction for driving while disqualified and without insurance. I don't see how you could appeal against something like driving without or driving whilst disqualified, because it's going to be on the DVLA's database whether you have a license or not, whether it's been revoked. Yes, I understand that, computers make mistakes based on what people input into them, but I think it's pretty safe to say that in most cases, if the DVLA system says that you don't have a license at the time, I think in most cases it's pretty, it's going to be pretty accurate, unless you can prove you've got the license and insurance. But if you could, then you wouldn't have been prosecuted for it. So clearly, I think, in my mind, this guy clearly hasn't got any of that, and he was disqualified at the time. So how you can appeal that, or why a court would turn around and say, yeah, okay, go on, off you go, while we're looking into your appeal. Well, is there really an appeal there? I don't think there is in that situation. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Mr. Shackley and Mr. Immy were hit with such force they were thrown over the top of Coopy's car and died on impact with the ground. After the crash, Coopy got back behind the wheel with his mother's Renault Clio on October 19th last year. He was jailed by District Judge Devinder Lechar after being convicted in a one-day trial, but continued to protest his innocence and launched an appeal from his cell in Burlington Jail. Today at Reading Crown Court, Defence Counsel Rebecca Hadjiet argued on Coopy's behalf, saying, "This is not an unmeritorious application, not without merit. It is something that Mr. Coopy feels very strongly about." No shit. Anybody who's been locked up who's making an appeal is going to feel strongly about that, aren't they? It's nothing to do with how strongly you feel about your appeal. It's about whether or not there's evidence there to suggest that an appeal is worthwhile. I don't think there is in this situation, but, what do I know? He's a young man. He was aged 17 years at the time of the offence, and he has never been in custody before. In fact, he has never had any custodial sentences or ever had a suspended sentence order. This is a notable step up from previous sentences, especially for a youth at the time of the offending behaviour. So he's never had any custodial sentence. He's never had a suspended sentence. But yet, as we've just read, he committed crimes when he was 12, 13, 14, 15. So, it's not like he's a first-time offender, is it? Let's face it. Again, I think this goes to show the level of this police privilege bullshit. So Ms. Hadjiet argued Coopy should be bailed until the application could be heard, pointing out he would have served almost all the custodial part of his 12-week sentence, imposed on Tuesday, October 29th at Reading Magistrates Court, before the appeal hearing could be fixed at Reading Crown Court. Ms. Hadjiet argued there appears to be this pattern emerging in 2018, so it is notable then that since October last year there are no further issues concerning his behaviour. Oh, big fucking wow. So for a year he hasn't been caught. That's all that means. It just means for a year he's not been caught. But, most people will have a little spell in their life where they go off the rails a little bit, do you know what I mean? But committing crimes in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016 as well, by the looks of it, because she says it's only since last year that he's been behaving himself. So 5 years worth of getting into trouble with the police. I wouldn't say that that's much of a mitigating factor. However, Ms. Hadjiet conceded he had failed to surrender for his bail at the appointed time when at his trial in October in the Magistrates Court. Having not got off the train at the right stop. Yes, we've all tried that fucking line before, haven't we? The lawyer said that Coopy should be bailed, adding he understands that it's very much in his interest to attend any appeal. He has been seeking a referral in relation to his mental health. Oh, surprise, surprise. Fucking seems the police always go down that route. No doubt he's getting some support from, the old police force union rep. Teach him young, no doubt. Yeah, and then no doubt they're going to drag him into the police force in a few years as well. So he's been seeking referral In relation to his mental health, he has issues with anxiety and depression. Next year he wants to go to university. He has desires to go into mobile catering. She added that he came from a supportive family and could reside with his parents in the Burlings, Ascot, Berkshire. Well, they're that supporting, they let him get away with committing crimes. That's fucking some support, if you ask me. She pointed out his father, Metropolitan Police Sergeant Russell Coopey, who attended court to assist with instructing the lawyer on his son's bail application. See, there you go. Look, how's a fucking police sergeant instructing a solicitor? The police think they know everything. It really annoys me how they're so arrogant that this police sergeant thinks he can go and instruct a solicitor what to do. Listen, officers, any police officers watching this, you don't understand the law. You get told what to use in what kind of circumstances, but you don't understand the law. There's a difference between repeating the shit that you're taught and learning the shit that you should be taught. There's a big fucking difference. Judge Burgess said he would bail Coopey, explaining, because he is so young it is not a happy picture, but there appears to have been something of a slowing down in the rate of offending. Oh, fucking hell. But, Your Honour, I've only killed one person this year. Last year I killed 6. Fucking hell, give me a break. The judge said Coopey would have to reside at his home address, have an electronically monitored curfew between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m, and was not permitted to sit in the front seat of any motor vehicle. He added, if by any chance he is offered a lift in a motor vehicle that only has front seats, he cannot get in it. I mean, what the fucking hell is that gonna... What kind of purpose is that gonna serve? Honestly. What's he gonna do in the fucking passenger seat of a car? There's no difference from sitting in a front passenger seat as it is sitting in a back passenger seat. Mr. Shackley's daughter, Danielle, today said Coopey has kept getting lenient sentences, and everyone says you cannot claim it is because he is son of a police officer. Well, yeah, you can. Absolutely you can. Because it's police privilege. It extends to their family as well. If it were a poor boy from a council estate, he would have been put in prison a long time ago, and he would have been put in prison for killing 2 people as well. Yes, absolutely, I agree. His parents have brought him up to be the person that he is. He's spoilt. He's always gotten his own way, and he's still getting his own way again, even above the law. Ms. Shackley was sharing a petition called Demand for Max Coopey's Sentence to be Reviewed, an investigation into handling of caseonchange.org. Ms. Shackley said every time he does something or his name gets brought up, it's right back to me thinking of the beginning when we first got told my dad had died. If something can come out of this, I want it to be for the law to be changed so that people like him are punished for the crimes they have done. Well, Danielle, I doubt very much you're watching this, but unfortunately that's not going to change. We'd all like to think that, you know, the laws are going to be changed, but it's not going to change this little brotherhood thing that the police have going on, how they protect their own. That's not going to matter. We see that time and time again. The law is the law, but yet we see police officers getting away with stuff. For example, they're allowed to retire. In a lot of cases, they're allowed to retire from the force rather than face prison or anything like that. And the courts and the police all feel, oh, you know, well, he's lost his job. Isn't that enough? No, it's fucking not. Because us, on the outside, us and the members of the public, wouldn't just lose our job. We'd likely lose our job, in some cases lose our relationships or our homes and our freedoms. So why the fuck should it be any different for some snotty little fucking cops kid who thinks they can get away with this kind of stuff because mummy and daddy are pigs? Don't make any sense. Absolutely don't make any sense at all. Anyway, just wanted to share this story with you, how the police privilege will extend to their families as well as themselves. Unfortunately, there's many people out there who have seen massive injustice because of this little brotherhood thing that the Blue ISIS have going on, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So the only way that we can react to this is to band together. We need our own brotherhood. Okay, public need to back each other up. I'm not talking about helping somebody if they're breaking the law or covering for somebody if they've broken the law. Because if you break the law, you have to deal with the consequences. That's it, end of. You have to do that. But we need to stick together as as a community, as citizens, as the public, we have to stick together against what is increasingly becoming an absolute separate realm of people who live a completely different life, who follow completely different rules, who are allowed to escape laws that we will almost certainly be convicted under for doing the same things. And it's completely abhorrent, and we need to fight. We need to stick together and fight, which is why I said in a couple of my last videos, as members of the public, if you see police interaction going on, if you see anybody that's dealing with security and it looks like it's getting out of hand, or civil enforcement officers as well, they're another one. Get your camera out if you can, okay? Try and help them by recording the incident. You don't have to get right up into it. Just be close enough to be able to pick up as much sound as you can, and the footage, you know, the video footage as well. And we need to share that, and we need to make sure that people are named and shamed, officers, enforcement officers, security, whatever it might be. We need to name and shame these people so everybody knows who they are and what kind of lowlives they are as well. Okay, I am more than happy for people who have got video footage of incidents to upload them to me or share them with me on Facebook. You can upload them to YouTube and list them as unlisted or private, and then just send me a link to them, and then I can grab it straight from your channel. That's absolutely fine. But let's make sure that we all start looking out for each other, just like the Blue ISIS are looking out for themselves and their families with this whole police privilege BS. So thank you once again for watching, guys.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.